Hello, everyone. I'm Ananda, the Galactic Mystic, and it's time to talk about the nodal shift. The North Node is moving from Taurus to Aries. The South Node is moving from Scorpio to Libra. What is this cycle about? Let's get into it. So, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for spending some of your time with me. I love talking about and working with the moon's nodes. The moon's nodes in the sky are both a collective assignment and a personal assignment. Now, our personal assignment will always sort of default to our natal lunar nodes, the signs and aspects and that whole story. And if that's something that you're not sure of, come and see me for a reading because that is one of my specialties. Now, on a collective level, it speaks of, as a whole, the guidance for all of us, the guidance for society, for humanity. And we've had the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio for a year and a half, and the shift is going to be noticeable. So with the moon's nodes shifting into a new phase, the South Node moving into Libra, North Node moving into Aries, it's a new astrological landscape that we have to navigate. So it's important to remember that the North Node is our leading edge guidance. The South Node is kind of our default, or like our karmic cauldron, so to speak. It's a place where we do have gifts that we can retrieve, but it's more likely to go to sort of the dumpster fire energy of that sign. So it's interesting because when we think of Libra, maybe we don't really know what the dumpster fire energy of Libra could be. One of the things that this could be is about people pleasing, about giving everyone else's peace and harmony more consideration than our own, and then resenting the crap out of those people for that, even though it was something we did, right? This is also about our trust wounds. Libra holds our trust wounds. It's one of the things Libra holds. And so as we go through this next year and a half, we're going to be taking a journey with this. This is absolutely about our relationships, not just romantic, but all. It's going to bring up a lot of opportunities for us to either choose win-win scenarios or not choose win-win scenarios. And not every scenario can be a win-win. And what do we do when that's the case? Something to think about. So the North Node in Aries is going to ask us to step forward with courage, self-assertion, and initiative. This is the sign of leadership. It's also an immature sign, a sign of youth. So a trick with this would be to remember what we were passionate about when we were young. When you were a child, before the world told you you were not okay, what did you think about? What did you spend your time doing when you had time to yourself? That information can inform this whole cycle for you and be kind of a spark of inspiration about what you may want to embrace and intentions you may want to set and then go for. Because it's time to step out of our comfort zones and to not worry about what other people are thinking about what we're doing. One of the most beautiful things about Aries energy is about allowing ourselves to exist just the way we are, and knowing that we have that right. We have the right to exist just as we are, the right to want what we want, to do what we want to do. We have that right. Aries also represents our ego, our self, and our identity. So we have this chance to really forge forward with a new identity, or a more refined identity, or whatever your thing is, whatever it is, or whatever your vision of yourself that you want to be. This is a really good time to take some steps. And we have a year and a half. It's not just a little blip. It's a whole cycle that will change us, especially if we interact with it intentionally and on purpose. We're being called to assert ourselves, to take action, to put our actual energy force in motion toward the things that we want. What aligns with our true self? To put our action towards it, to do it, to step out into it, to let go of everybody else's opinion. So here are some things we can do. We can be bold and we can take risks. Aries loves to take risks and try new things. So this is the time, I already said this, but to step out of our comfort zones and try something new. Take on a challenge. Take a chance on yourself. Take a chance on your dreams. And remember that even if you fail, it's not the end of the world. Who cares? Who cares if you fail? It's just an experience, and you still did it. I bet you still have stories to tell, learned a bunch. There's nothing wrong with failure. Nothing at all. You can always pick yourself up again and try again, because Aries knows that it's the power of the self that gets stuff done. Another thing is cultivating self-confidence. With Aries' connection with the ego and our sense of self, it's important to prioritize believing in ourselves and focusing on our strengths, the things that make us unique, and to remember that not only are we capable of great things, but we've no doubt already done incredibly great things. So to build on that, build on our own strengths. And there's nothing wrong with feeling great about yourself. Some people may not like it, and that's their business. You know what I mean? So embrace your individuality. Aries celebrates individuality and uniqueness. So embrace your true self. Don't be afraid to stand out in a crowd. It's time to celebrate these differences. When we celebrate our own uniqueness, we also end up celebrating other people's uniqueness. The way that we treat ourselves is generally how we treat others. So the better we are to ourselves, the more we embrace our flaws, warts and boogers, and, it's time to celebrate all our uniqueness, our quirks, our special qualities that people remember. Take charge of your life. Aries is a sign of leadership, and he represents just going for it. Just going for it. And again, back to not worrying about failure. I mean, Aries is a sign of youth. It's a sign of not really thinking about the consequences. And I'm not saying we shouldn't think about the consequences. I'm saying that we should not let consequences that don't really matter stop us. There are consequences that matter. And then there are consequences that we think matter that don't matter. And it's time to know the difference. To take charge of our destiny requires that type of discernment. That's how we make things happen. Embrace your passions. Aries loves passionate enthusiasm. It's time to embrace what you love and pursue what brings you joy. Follow your heart and do it, and be a little bit selfish about it. And I don't mean selfish in a way that harms other people, but I mean selfish in a way that makes your passionate enthusiasm, your zest for life, your path as important, more important than others. If you don't make your life the most important thing to you, that's not anyone else's job to make your life most important. It's your job to make your life the most important thing. How are you living? What do you want to do? So this is a time to embrace courage, to take the leap, take the initiative. Now, so I don't want to gloss this over and act like there's no shadow to Aries. Every sign has a shadow. But what I'm saying is the way that the nodes work with the signs, the way that I work with the signs, is that we want to embrace the highest, we want to sort of aim for the highest manifestation of the North Node energy, Aries. And we want to avoid the pitfalls of the dumpster fire of the South Node energy, Libra. So to sum up, dumpster fire Libra is people pleasing, martyring, living in our trust wounds, making everyone else's experience more important than our own. So those are the things that we don't want to do, but those are the things that are going to pull us. And those are the things that society is going to also be pulling, because sort of society as a whole tends to ruminate in the South Node. But as leaders, as people who are walking their life with awareness, we know we want to be aiming in the other direction. We want to embrace leadership, people's right to be who they are. There's a lot of that already going on. People fighting for just the right to exist as they are and who they are. And it's time to support them if you're not already. It's time to weave that into our culture, into our society in a way that cannot be separated ever again. I do also want to sort of take a moment to consider at a societal level what it might mean to people please. And when I think about this, it makes me think about following the crowd rather than taking the risk of saying something we know people don't agree with, or bucking the current when everyone seems to be getting along so well. So there's an edge to this. We are walking on the knife's edge collectively anyway. And as we embrace Aries energy, we want to remember one of my favorite things about Aries energy. Aries is the warrior. This is warrior energy. But I don't mean warrior as in fighting or going to fight, you know, like picking a fight or stirring up violence or anything like that. What I mean is the type of energy, the type of relationship that happens when warriors fight for the same cause side by side. So think about, like, imagine you're a warrior. You've been, in the battlefield many times with the same people. The guy or gal to your left, the being to your right, you have fought side by side with these people over and over again. And over time, there's this trust, different kind of trust that develops, where you begin to view each other as extensions of yourself, because they've got your back and they know you've got their back. And so this ability to be a warrior side by side with others, fighting for or against the same cause together, that's what I mean. Not that we are that we want to like individuate to the point where we're fighting all our battles alone. We're going to try and create change alone. No, this is about gathering our resources and pooling this energy to create change together. That, know who's on your side, know who's walking beside you. That's, when we talk about trust wounds, this is the medicine for that. Allowing a different kind of trust to come into your life, where we do this shoulder to shoulder as leaders together. We're not competing. We all want each other to win because we're all on the same side. And when we do this together, that's when revolution truly happens. So this is a time of revolution, but only if we can do it like that. We're not going out picking fights and, doing this on our own. We're learning to lean on those who are with us shoulder to shoulder. It's a beautiful type of relationship. So that's what warriorship means to me. It's about relating, about symbiosis. So those are some of my thoughts about this nodal shift. I hope you found this helpful and interesting. There's probably a lot more that I will think of later, or that I wish that I would have said, but this is a good start. And there will be, no doubt, many opportunities to talk about this more in the coming years. And I could always do a part 2, because there's always material for a part 2. See you soon.